So, does this have a great ending? It does not. I feel like it's a good ending. It's not a great ending. Just like the story could have been so much better if the Krakoan Age writers had more time. Because they probably were writing, and when it was doing the Fall of X, they're like, all right, we got about a year and a half, maybe 2 years to wrap this up. And then people at Marvel pretty much told them, you know, you got about 6 months. So, not the greatest positions to be in. But I'll give it up to Kieron, Gillen, Jerry Duggan, Cy Spurrier, Al Ewing. You know, they could have been like, you know what, forget it. We'll just write some bullshit down and call it a day. They did not. They took the high road, and we'll talk about this once we get to the end of the video. My name is Dorian. This is SEM Comics. We are concluding our coverage of The Rise of Power of X with number 5. So our story starts off in, I like how they got it written down here, the once white, once hot room. And we see Jean being reborn as a phoenix, like she always does. And she has a little baby phoenix. You know what? We're going to call it Hope. You know why? Because I miss Hope. And we have Jean, who's talking to little baby Phoenix, and little baby Phoenix is explaining to her how she has come from not just Hope, but from all the mutants that are in the waiting room. Now, this is my interpretation. Feel free to let me know in the comments what your interpretation is. But the waiting room was created by Wanda during the whole trial of Magneto, or as a place where mutant souls can go. Now, when they bring people back, yeah, they bring them back, but what happens to their soul? What happens to that person's soul? It has to go somewhere. And I feel like that's where the souls were going. You'll see as this comic book progresses. That's pretty much me saying that the Phoenix is now powered by all the mutants that are in the waiting room. And if I'm not mistaken, just about every mutant on Krakoa died at least once. So that's a lot of souls that are in the waiting room. So then Jean goes to little Phoenix and says, we need to stop Enigma. Are you willing? And she goes, are you asking me, am I willing to burn away a machine of lies, Mother Me? It's what we do. Yeah, it's definitely Hope. Just let's cuss it. So now we switch to Krakoa, that's on Earth, and you see Rasputin 4 going, Krakoa victorious. And Rachel's like, yeah, we beat Orcus, but we're still not out the woods yet because we still got to deal with Enigma. Hopefully Jean is on that. And Scott's like, if Jean's on it, then we won. So then our beloved Sinister turns to Destiny and goes, so Destiny, did we win? Or are we just avocado spread on the toast of infinity? And Destiny goes, the second kindest thing I'm ever going to do for you, Sinister, is not share with you what I'm seeing right now. So you know it's got to be bad. So then we cut back to Jean, and Enigma called up to her quick. It was like, welcome back. Sadly, your return will be brief, as we see all the Dominions are with Enigma. So he's like, all the Dominions have descended from overspace, and together we will ensure that you never threaten us ever again. And Jean pretty much looks at him and goes, one at a time or all at once, doesn't matter to me. So I'm gonna try to put it in layman's terms, what's being said on this page, because you got a lot of Dominions saying a lot of things, but they're all pretty much saying one singular thing. They're pretty much saying, we don't want none of your smoke whatsoever, Phoenix. We especially don't want that fire. We ain't with this dude. All right, you got a problem with him. We ain't with him. We just want to let you know that we don't want to mess with you at all, and hopefully we will never see you again. So do what you made of this dude. We're out. And they bounce. So I'm Generation X, so you know what this reminds me of, right? Right.
Oh, you want something too, old man? Huh? No.
So Enigma does his best South Park impression. It goes, you bastards. So now Jean is on her Phoenix shit. And she's like, so you come all this way to burn, huh? You must be disappointed. Now, Enigma might be this all-powerful being, but don't ever get it twisted. He's still a Sinister. And you see it from what he says next. He's like, you know what? I wanted some help, but it's cool. I've raised myself higher than any other Dominion, and I did it by going the longest route imaginable. I am not afraid to fight, but ultimately I don't have to, because I have more places to hide, and you have more things I can hurt. Find me before I destroy everything that ever made you, you. And he dips out. So then we cut to Orchis headquarters. We'll probably never be saying those words again. And we have Professor Xavier standing there, and all you hear is, Enigma told me to stay away from you, but I have to ask, why are you here? And it's Moira. And Professor Xavier goes to open your mind, and next thing you know, we are back where they first met on that park bench. So she's wondering how the hell he's doing this, because, you know, she's supposed to have all these defenses that are supposed to stop this from happening. Professor Xavier goes, you can walk away whenever you want to. I'm not holding you here. But before you leave, let me unlock this. And he unlocks the memory of him about to gun her down, which I guess he suppressed way back when. And she's like, you came back to kill me. You even pulled the trigger. He goes, yeah, I did. But I decided to go a different route and rely on your better nature. And she goes, you want me to rely on my better nature after you just told me that you was going to gun down a 13-year-old? He goes, yes, I know. I told everyone it was highly unlikely, but yet, here's where we find ourselves. And Enigma is doing his damnedest to try to stop Jean. I mean, his damnedest. He pretty much went back all the way when Professor Xavier first met with her parents, and he is trying to make her parents keep her and not release her to Professor Xavier. Jean has to fix that. Tries to make Madeline Pryor fight harder to keep Scott instead of Scott going back to Jean. Jean has to fix that. When Emma and Scott were doing the dirty behind Jean's back in Scott's mind, and then was like, no, you know what, we could do better than that. Why don't we just physically have that happen? Jean has to fix that. Now, I will say this. Enigma impressed me with his powers on this one. He went back to Avengers vs. Eternals vs. X-Men, and the progenitor Celestial, he pretty much was able to control him, and instead of him pretty much judging Jean and judging against her, he actually judged in her favor. So yeah, that was pretty impressive, because we all know how powerful Celestials are, which he says that would have increased her arrogance and left her more vulnerable, but Jean fixed it. So then we cut back to Professor Xavier. He's talking to Moira, and he's like, look, I knew you was going to join Enigma way back when, but there's something you need to know. That's not just some space god out there in the universe. That is Nathaniel Exis. He is a sinister. You're about to make a sinister king of the universe. How do you feel about that? And she's like, hell, there's no way I would want to do that. But I'm not a Titan yet. And even if I was a Titan, there's no way I could beat him. He would just chew me up and spit me out. So Professor Xavier was like, look, Jean is fighting him through all space and time, but she can't land a blow on him because she can't locate him. But if you activate that signal that I put in your head when you was 13, she'll be able to find you, and in essence, we'll be able to find him. So then we cut back to Jean and Enigma, and they're going through all kinds of stuff like the Dark Phoenix saga. They're going through the Onslaught saga. I mean, they're going through when they first got to Krakoa. They're going through all these different scenarios that Jean has to fix. And Enigma is extremely confident because he is pretty much like, look, I can change all this stuff up. She has to hit her target every single time, because she just missed one time, I win. So Charles pretty much explains that all the bad things that he did, all the killing that he just got finished doing, everything to be on Orchid's side was to make sure that he was at this point to be able to talk to her about this right here. And Moira is like pissed. She's like, you bastard, I can't stand you. I would love to disappoint you, Charles. And on the next page, we see that she doesn't. She goes, hey, Jean, come and get me. And Enigma's like, you traitorous, and he doesn't get a chance to finish the statement. Professor X goes, Moira, are you? And she goes, Charles, I never. And then she is set on fire. So now we see Jean be able to find Enigma, and Enigma goes, very well, let's. And then Jean's like, doesn't matter how powerful you are, you're only you. And we're the X-Men, and we see all the souls that were in the waiting room join Jean to attack Enigma. So then Jean's like, you can't stop us all. And Enigma's like, I won. I was there. And then we see Phoenix tap into her inner Wolverine, pops some claws and sends it right through Enigma's head. And he goes, "This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. I can hide. There has to be somewhere I can, and there's nowhere to hide." And then we come to this interesting page of Enigma. I'm not going to read them all. You guys are free to read them. All I got to do is pick up the book and read it. And he's pretty much explaining all the different scenarios that are going on, but they all end with him, and I'm screaming. It's the second Scott Summers and Jean Grey's fingers touch for the first time, and I'm screaming. It's the moment when Gillen opened up his eyes in the new universe for the first time. Gillen's Galactus, if you guys don't know. And I'm screaming. It is a moment when the Phoenix rams through me 3 blades made of every mutant who has ever lived in any dimension ever. And I'm screaming. So now we cut back to Earth, and Jean comes down, and Scott's like, "I knew you'd be able to do it. What happened?" And Jean's like, "So much. I'll tell you later." She goes and kisses Scott and goes, "We got all the time in the world." So then we cut to Destiny and Raven, and Raven goes, "So, my immortal love, have you won? Is Enigma dead?" And Destiny goes, "No, he's at the moment of death forever. So I count that as a win." So there you go, new X-Writers. There goes your gift. Enigma is not dead. And you don't got to come up with some crazy ass scheme to bring him back. He could just pull himself back together. So then Rasputin 4 goes, "Excellent. Now, let's kill Sinister." And she goes, "Where is he?" So the Exodus is like, "Irene, where is the heretic gone?" And she goes, "Elsewhere." And Rasputin 4 is like, "You don't understand. The guilty must pay for their sins." And then Destiny's like, "Oh, no, I do understand. They will." And as she says that, we cut to 1 week later. Professor Xavier's nice, clean and shaven, and he's sitting on that same park bench. And he goes, "Oh, thank you guys for coming so quickly. Now, take me away and throw away the key." As we see a whole bunch of police officers or military or whoever, SHIELD, could be anybody, come to arrest Professor Xavier. Yeah, he's probably going to be Prisoner X. So on this page, pretty much I'll let you guys make heads or tails of it. But what I took from it is that the White Hot Room, if I'm not mistaken, will be inaccessible because now the Phoenix is alive again, and the only time it goes to White Hot Room is when it needs to be reborn. I could be wrong. Please let me know in the comments if I am wrong, but I think that's how that works. So the mutants that are in there are going to remain in there until they figure out a way to get them out, if there is a way to get them out. And also too, Krakoa, the Pacific side that's on Earth, is fine, and I don't think it's going anywhere unless it goes somewhere in X-Men number 35, because on the last page we see Moira. This is in the Phoenix new timeline. She does her countdown, 3, 2, 1. She goes, "Activate." There's nothing, and she goes, "I'm free. It's over." And that's how it ends. So I know there's one more book that has to come out, which is X-Men number 35, but it looks like you're leaving a lot of meat on the bone, and they're leaving a lot for new X-Writers to pretty much borrow from. And that's what good writers do. They don't forget about the previous run. They take elements from the previous run and they include it in their new run. And hopefully they do that. I mean, it is a seasoned bunch that they're bringing in, so I mean, this is nothing new to them. Hopefully they do that. They don't have the big heads and be like, "No, I'm gonna do this my way." Their run will be forgotten very fast if they do that. So let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of it? Me personally, I love the Krakoan Age, but I'm also excited to see what they do in this new age. Will they mess up, or no, forget, will they fuck up, or will they not fuck up? That is a question, and that's what I want to see. So let me know in the comments, what do you think is going to happen?